Hey guys, well, welcome back to this week's episode of the American Landman. Hey, we're going to take a trip back in time. About 4 years ago, I sold a farm to a very good friend of mine, Trent Tinder. And this farm was a mess, and we affectionately called it the crappy farm because there was junk everywhere. Piles of tires, junk piles, metal, debris, everything you can imagine. But I told Trent, if you do the work and you follow a plan and you clean this property up, you're going to have a great property, and eventually you're going to have some great equity when you sell it. So today I'm going back. I'm going to help him with some food plots, and I'm going to highlight a few of the projects that he's done because I think it's a great lesson on how to improve a property for maximum equity and eventually a great resale. So come along, we're heading to Chippewa County, Wisconsin. We're going to visit the crappy farm on today's episode of the American Landman. Let's take a little break here. Woo! Beautiful spring day. Hey, today I'm on this farm in Chippewa County, Wisconsin. This is owned by my buddy Trent, and I sold this farm to him. Probably one of the early ones I sold about 5 years ago, 4 years ago maybe. And when I sold it to him, I told him, Trent, there's a lot of things you can do here. If you put in a little extra work, you clean this place up, and you're going to have some great value and equity here. So that's what we did. So this area right here that I'm standing on, I wish I could show you this 4 years ago because this was a grown-up mess. He'd come in here, the owner, and he had clear cut it, and he created a mess in here. He kind of did the job halfway and didn't finish it. And I told Trent and his son Alden, I said, hey guys, if you come in here and you clean this out and put this into a food plot, I'm telling you, it's going to help you with the equity, and eventually you're going to have a fantastic farm because the eye likes order. The eye appeals to lines and straightness, and that's what we got here. We created a kind of a soft edge all the way around, but when you come into the property here and you see clean fields, fellas, that's what people like to see. And when you go to sell it, that translates into equity. So what Trent has done here is he's created a kind of a chain of pearls. Food plot here, another food plot around the corner, another food plot, and then a fourth food plot. And he's created a chain and he's linked them all together. And I'm out here today, we're helping him plant this. And what we're going to do here is we're going to put this into probably soybeans. We've got, all told, I'm going to say we've got about 3 acres of space. And what we're doing is we're treating this soil, we're getting nitrogen in, we're using soybeans to do it. This fall we're going to come back and I'm going to advise Trent that he overseeds this into cereal rye grain and brassica mix. Throw a little clover into it, so next spring we're going to set this field up with another one I'm going to show you in a little bit, where we planted rye last year and now it's green. We don't have to treat it with as much herbicides. It's ready to plant, and that's what we're going to do here. So it's a process. So when you buy these properties, these are the things you're going to do. Number one, look for a property that needs a little cleanup. A little sweat equity will go a long ways. That's what we had here. There was these clear cuts that were brushy, overgrown, not cleared out. There was piles of garbage and trash and tires. And Trent did all that work. He cleaned it up and he's making it beautiful. The second thing is create a process here. Have lines, because people like to see edge. They like to see order. They like to see food plots. They like to see a process, a story, if you will, and that's what he's done here. We've created a series of food plots through his property. We've cleaned up the lines a little bit, and it's just very appealing when you come in here and you show it to a prospective buyer. It adds to equity. I can just tell you, it's a psychology. The next thing is work on your soil, and that's what we're going to do here. We got it open. This happens to be kind of a clay-based soil. It holds a lot of moisture. It gets baked hard. And you can see if it really holds together. This is good right now because it's soft and I can till it up and we can get it planted. But if this bakes out and dries, it's like concrete. So you want to treat your soil, and that's what Trent is doing. Trent has got clover growing here. Here's some good example. A bunch of clover growing in here, and all this biomass is feeding his deer. I kicked up a little fawn in here, but it's also treating the soil. It's bringing nitrogen into the soil from the air. There's thousands of pounds of nitrogen right over the top of us, It's grabbed by these clover plants, put into the soil, and then we're bringing it back up with our plants this fall with our soybeans, doing the same thing, feeding our deer. So we're creating a cycle. So we've got a great story. We've got a farm that was the crappy farm with junk everywhere. We got order. We've got a pearl chain of pearls in food plots. We're planting and we're cleaning this place up. One question I get all the time is, what kind of equipment do you use? Well, I'm going to show you my equipment. This is a John Deere 4200 tractor, about 28 horsepower. I got turf tires on this thing, which aren't the best, but you know what? If I don't get stuck in the mud, I'm pretty good. My buddy Trent and I got a King Cutter 6-foot tractor tiller, and it does the job. I would say this is a little underpowered for this thing. The RPMs kind of drop, but you could do a lot with this unit right here. It's a little slow when I'm tilling up these fields. It's a little slow. A disc would be better, but it ends up in a better seed bed, so that's why I'm using it. And I just like something bigger, but that's what I do. And then I just come in with a seeder. It's a crank seeder, and we plant this. Another thing that we use that's really helpful is now we're using Deer Grow pH amender plot start, and we're spraying that on here. So we have a Fimco 45-gallon sprayer that will hook back to the back of the gator, or I have a bigger sprayer, 110-gallon, that I'll hook to the tractor, a 3-point PTO driven sprayer. So that's the equipment. It doesn't take a whole lot, and if you clean it up and you plant those food plots, instant equity. Here's an example of one of the many trash piles that were on Trent's farm, and these were really a blight, and it really hurt the sale price of the former owner. But Trent and his son have cleaned this up. It was ugly, but they've cleaned it up. They've got a little bit more to go, but it's added instant equity by doing the job. This is an example of a really simple project that Trent does. All we've done is we've run the tiller through this trail, created a nice walkway, a nice travel path. Before, this was all overgrown. It was mud puddles. It was hard to walk through, but now it's smooth. Eventually this will dry and flatten out. We'll keep it open. So simply just making trails, if they're there, making them better, make them look orderly, making these lines look good. Who doesn't like that, huh? That's a beautiful sight. Walk through the woods. Easy equity. Now here's a little project that's taken Trent a couple years. This was once a horse pasture. And what Trent has done is he's come in here and he's planted cereal grain rye. And this rye grain has a couple different effects. Number one, it's a weed suppressant. It has what's called an allelopathic effect, where the plant actually exudes chemicals into the soil that suppresses weed growth. It also acts as a great mulch, just pulling all the carbon out of the air, putting it right in the soil. Everything is carbon. Plants are carbon, animals are carbon, you and I are carbon. Everything lives off of carbon. When you put the carbon in the soil, the plants bring it up through the growth. The deer, the animals, the humans eat it. It goes into us, we defecate, goes back in the soil, and it's a cycle. So that's what Trent's doing here. He's getting carbon in the soil. He's stopping erosion. The soil is cooler, it stays moist, and it's going to be a great planting bed when he gets ready to plant into this. So here's an example of the plant bed that Trent has now created. So if we take yourself down through here, you can see there's open soil everywhere down here. And when he plants, he's going to be able to overseed the plants. He's going to take a roller crusher and he's going to crush all this mulch down. It'll die and it'll hold the moisture over the soil, just like a greenhouse effect. Eventually those young plants will spring up and they'll grow into the second crop here, and Trent will have a really good fall food plot. Okay, well, we got this project done. 5 hours of tilling and 3 acres done. Let me show you real quick what I did here. So this is how Trent's got this place set up. This is a destination food plot. I'd say it's about 1 acre in size. And he's got this set up pretty well because he's got a little pinch point right here. He's got a stand, and it's about 25 yards across. Then you can see how the food plot goes down and actually goes around the corner. So any deer that maybe are out in this destination food plot are going to come to this pinch. They're going to open up into this food plot, And if they want to continue down to other food plots, they're going to go through other pinches to another food plot and so on, all the way down the property. So he's got it set up really well. Next, he's going to come in here and he's going to put some blocking screening so that deer maybe that are down here, if he's in this tree stand up there, can't see him leave, and vice versa. And the last thing is how he's got this oriented. This is northwest, and the prevailing wind will come from this shoulder off here and take his scent when he's up in that tree, you're staying right there, back into the woods. And he accesses it from this side as well. So because this is a long, narrow food plot, it does give plenty of sunlight, but he's got multiple points of access where he can come in anywhere, kind of perpendicular to this food plot, and exit as well, all the while with this with the wind in his face. So it's very well set up. He's done a good job with it. It looks awesome now, and I can't wait to see him get something planted. So, hey guys, I hope you've taken a few lessons from that. You know, get order on your plots, on your property, linear lines, clean it up, set it up well. Little food plots like this that are well thought out. Create a story around your property, and it will sell for more equity, because Trent's going to do really well when he goes to sell this. Hope you enjoyed my day. I'm getting tired and I am done tilling. I'm Neil Hogger, and I'm a land specialist with Whitetail Properties Real Estate in western Wisconsin. You've been watching The American Landman. Thanks for watching.